Good morning. Looks like it's time to get into something. This is how old folks handle the heat back in the day. They got up at daylight and got out and worked, and during the heat of the day they got in. That's the way they handle that. Let's get into something. So you can see a little better. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, today it's time to cage our Roma tomatoes. At the end of the video, I'll put up a link to show you how to build those cages. Back in the day when I built them, they were about $2 a piece. Now they're probably $4 a piece, probably doubled in price. So they're just made out of concrete wire, but I'll link to the video where I show you how to build those on the end screen when the little circles and squares come up. So be certain to check that out. They're lifetime tomato cages. They will last you a lifetime. I'm using some that were my grandmother's. Okay, so they last a long time. Now the type of tomato that I have is a Roma VF hybrid. It's a hybrid tomato. I do that because here in central Kentucky this was tobacco country, and Fusarium wilt is and vermiculum wilt is common, so I use a variety of Roma that's not susceptible to that. Okay, this is resistant to that. So I plant a VF hybrid. I buy the seeds. That's one of the few things I buy seeds for. I buy seeds for sweet corn, because you can't make your own ultra sweet corn, the candy corn. And then I buy the seeds for the Roma VF hybrids. All the other stuff I save my own seed, including potatoes and sweet potatoes. Okay, So let's get over here and I'll show you how we cage these determinant tomatoes. What's a determinant tomato? Well, a determinant tomato is a tomato that only grows about 4 feet tall. Okay? It grows about 4 feet tall. It's more bushy than viney, and it puts on most of its tomatoes all at once. It doesn't keep producing tomatoes over the year. Okay? Determinant tomatoes is determined when they're going to put on fruit, and that's it. Okay? So these Romas, they only get about 4 feet tall, so I only need a 2.5 foot cage that lets the stuff come up and over the top and down to the ground, but it never makes it to the ground if I've got a 2.5 foot tall cage. Does that make sense? So let's get over here. I came out last night and plowed through the tomatoes and plowed through everything in the garden, really. When you're just killing weeds, I can plow through in 3rd gear and it doesn't take me too long. I can do the entire garden in probably, I don't know, 40 minutes. That's an 1.5 acres of garden, okay? 40 minutes. That's wonderful for tilling. I remember when I used to use the old hand tiller, I couldn't come close to that. So let's go over here and do some tomatoes. Okay, right here's my tomato. So I want to take my hoe and make sure none of these weeds survive. And folks, practice your hoe mechanics. You know, you don't have to bend over and dig. If you've got a good sharp hoe, it just cuts those weeds off without digging yourself to death. Okay? Okay, those weeds are gone. And I'm going to come over here to this plant and clear those two so I can set 2 cages at once. Up. Knock the tomato down. That's not good. Put dirt back up on him. There you go, baby. You'll be all right. Okay. Now, that's got my weeds gone for these 2 plants. Now I'm going to go get a cage. Yes, I drive my truck right down in the garden. Now, these tomato cages, you'll notice the way they're made, they've got these that are cut off. They're about 6 inches long. They go right over the plant. You just work them right down into the ground, and that's it. That tomato is caged. Let's do the next one. Two tomatoes caged. Now, okay, that's all there is to putting tomato cages on my determinant tomatoes. I'll let the video run so you can see how fast it goes. I've got a 100-foot row here. I planted in that 100-foot row, I planted close to 60 tomatoes, but not all of them made it. Okay, because the way I do them from sets, from slips instead of in the pots. So what am I going to do? Well, when I'm done here, when it's getting close to the next rain, I'll go through and plant another set. I'll go get them out of the bed. They're free. Okay? I'll plant some more. Wherever these didn't make it, I'll plant some more, but I'll wait till it's close to a rain so I don't have to water them every day. Okay, and what that'll do, it will allow me to fill in the empty spots, but also the tomatoes that get planted will produce later. Okay, so if I've got 40, I think I've got like 45 tomato plants down this row, so that'll let me put in another 15, and those 15 I'll get tomatoes off of a couple weeks later. So that way we don't have all of the tomatoes coming in at one time. Generally I can harvest the tomatoes out of here over a 2-week time span out of the Romas. Okay, over a 2-week time span. We dehydrate them. I come out and get a load, take them in, we cut them up, put them in the dehydrator, or cut them up and put them in the freezer. Okay, we don't can tomatoes anymore. Crystal's back can't handle it, and mine can't either. So we don't can tomatoes. We either freeze them or dehydrate them. We love dehydrated Romas and dehydrated Cherokee purples. I could eat them like potato chips. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get down through here and do this. Okay, that's 11 caged. Let's go get more cages. I haul about 11 or 12, something like that, in the back of my truck at a time. And what that does, it gives my back a chance to rest in between hoeing and putting the cages on. Okay? Old guys can't just stay in that field. So, alright, I'll come back to you when I get them all done. Okay, I put on 28 cages on 28 tomatoes that were thriving. I cut down probably 4 tomatoes that survived but just weren't thriving. They were still teeny tiny, and yeah, no matter what I done to them, they were not going to thrive. They were just going to be little bitty things, so I just cut them down. And I'll put tomatoes in their place. Now I went back and looked at my planting video, and I planted 42 Romas. Okay? 42 Romas. 28 of them survived to be caged. So, let's see what that comes out to. 28 divided by 42. 66% of them. Or in other words, 2/3 of them survived. And 1/3 of them died. Didn't make it. Or didn't prosper. So, what am I going to do about that? Well, tomorrow, or not tomorrow, the next day that it's going to rain, the day before that, I will go out in the bed and get more plants and come out here and plant in the places that were skipped. I'll go ahead today and get cages and bring down here so that I get more tomatoes. Now, what do I expect out of these tomatoes? Like I told you before, Crystal and I don't can anymore. Okay? It's just too hard on her back. She can't stand at the sink and at the counter and all that for all that extended period of time, because canning takes a long time. Okay? It takes a long time to do canning. It takes a long time to do gardening. But I do it in small spurts. It's okay if I didn't get all the cages on these today. Okay? If I had got out here and was working and could only get 5 or 10 cages on and had to stop, that's what I would have done. Alright? So, that's what you have to do. You can't just come out and work till you're dirt in the ground. You can't do that. If you do that, you won't be able to do nothing tomorrow. If I do that, I won't be able to do nothing next week, the whole week. So, I don't do that. So, I've got out here, I've got these 28 tomato cages on. I'm going to get over here and start working on my indeterminate tomatoes. I'll do a video about that too. Now, what do I expect from these tomatoes? Well, we're going to dry them and we're going to freeze them. Alright? Mostly the Romas we'll dry. We'll dehydrate them. We love sun-dried tomatoes. Well, we don't dry them in the sun, we dry them in a dehydrator. Okay? We don't have one of the fancy dehydrators. We just have a little Presto Dehydro from Walmart. I think we paid $39 for them, and I've got 2 of them. And then I bought I bought 4 extra racks for each one. So I've got a total of 2 dehydrators with 8 racks. So, okay, sorry, the camera died right in the middle of our discussion. I've got 2 dehydros with 8 racks apiece. So it can do, I take Crystal in about 3 to 6 gallons. Each dehydro will hold about 3 gallons of cut up Romas. Okay, maybe not that much. Maybe each one of them holds about 1.5 gallons, and the 2 together hold 3 gallons. So I bring her in 2 buckets at a time, 2.5 gallon buckets at a time. They're not heaped up, of these Romas, and she works them up, puts them in the dehydrator, and it takes them overnight. And by overnight, they're all dehydrated good, and we take them out and we put them in jars and seal them up, and they're good for years to come. We're out, I think we've got half a jar of dehydrated Romas left, so you know, so they last a long time, and we use them for everything. I could eat them for tomato chips, okay? I could just sit and eat them. They're delicious. Anyway, if there's more than we want to dry, let's say we get 16 quart jars of dehydrated tomatoes, which is like having 48 quart jars of regular tomatoes. Let's say we do that, and we've got those 16 quart jars, but we've still got Romas in the field. We'll take them in, wash them, cut the tops off of them, okay? Cut the tops off, put them in a gallon freezer bag and put them in the freezer. No peeling, none of that stuff. Just wash them, cut the tops off, put them in a bag, put them in the freezer. When you get them out of the freezer, if you want to take the skins off, you just run them under a little cold water and you can rub the skins right off. Me, I don't worry about it. I'll make Creole skins and all. Okay, the skins just kind of cook up. Okay, where they've been frozen, they're not make big globs all in your food. They just kind of cook up. So, yeah, I love Creole made with Cherokee purple tomatoes. Oh, goodness. Now, just so you know, you don't can heirloom tomatoes, okay? They're big and they're not meaty like a Roma or a Amish paste or something like that. They're not. They have a lot of seeds in them. They have a lot of water in them. So if you canned them, they would be real watery. Plus, with all the big grooves and stuff, you have so much knife work to do, and it's dang near impossible to peel them. Okay, you don't want to can stuff with peels on it. So it's dang near impossible to peel those big old ugly heirloom tomatoes. But boy, they freeze good. You just knock off any bad places and cut the top off. You know, get any of that green out of the center of the top. Chunk them in the freezer. Oh, yeah. And we dehydrate them too. Cherokee Purples dehydrated are the best thing you ever put in your mouth. Okay, it's a whang of flavor. We like to take that yellow rice from the dollar store. You know what I'm talking about, Dollar General, that little Virgo saffron rice, yellow rice, whatever they call it, and break up pieces of Cherokee Purple and put in that and cook it together, and then at the end add some feta cheese. Oh, it's awesome. Now, if you like this stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. Now, if you hit the little bell, it'll be right up here. When you come to the channel, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Now, with that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing and get over here and start working on my indeterminate tomatoes. Remember, if you want to see about the cages, I'll try and put a link right here. Love y'all.